Hi there guys, and welcome once again to Jonesy's vlog. A bit of a different one, as you've probably already been able to tell from the title of it, but one that a lot of YouTubers are making at the moment. You know, a lot of them are putting these kind of videos out, and it's important that people still do make these videos after sort of the last month or so of things that have been happening in the YouTube community. I'm not going to go into tons and tons of details about what has actually happened, because I don't know these people that have been involved, but I will put a link in the description below that takes you to a very interesting but also shocking and scary post that basically outlines everything that has been happening recently. Those of you that aren't aware of what has been going on recently, basically over the past month or so, a large number of well-known and popular male YouTubers have been outed by various people as being people that have basically abused the power that they have created for themselves on YouTube, and have basically abused their fans. They have used people, they have embarrassed people, and they have manipulated people to such an extent, for some people, that, you know, rape has been involved and sexual abuse. As I say, the majority of the things that I'm talking about, and well, basically every person that has been outed in this, is in that description, in the link in the description below. But some of the people involved, YouTubers like Alex Day, you know, well over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, Sam Pepper, and the most recent one was Jason V1I. And really the only reason I'm mentioning those three are because those are the three that I actually, you know, heard of and that I knew. I hadn't heard of the other ones personally, but you know, that doesn't make, you know, what they've done any less of a matter. So, you know, the first I'd heard about all this was when Sam Pepper basically idiotically did his whole you know, male harassment thing, and saying that, you know, females sexually abuse and harass males and things, and basically did a stupid prank that completely backfired. And after him doing that, it led to a very brave girl to come out and say about how he had, you know, again, manipulated her, used his power over her as a fan, and you know, tried to basically sexually abuse her in a cinema. And you know, she used screenshots of texts and messages to, you know, to back this up, and it was, like I say, a very, very brave thing for her to do. And then that led on to last week, as I say, Jason V1I, someone again who I don't know too well, but again, lots and lots of followers on YouTube, and it's sort of included in the whole friends group of, you sort of, you know, Emma Blackery, Luke Cookforth, and you know, all those group of people. That's the main reason I knew of him, really, because I'm a big Emma Blackery fan. And you know, I'd watched some of his videos before and everything, and thought he, you know, came across as a normal kind of guy. But it's come out since that he is basically a rapist. Whichever way you look at it, he again abused his power and used his, you know, obvious sort of stranglehold over his fans, you know, girls that, you know, adored him, and manipulated them into having sexual intercourse with them. And these girls were underage, and he also gave them alcohol. So many things wrong with that sentence there. And like I say, this has been, for some reason, this past month or so, it has just all started coming out about so many YouTubers. Like I say, you go to the link in the description below, there's I mean, about at least 10 YouTubers have been outed recently as basically being these manipulative kind of people. And like I say, I'm not going into too much detail about what they've done, because like I say, I don't know them, I don't know the whole story about what they've done, but it is obviously very important to keep talking about this subject. You know, this is something that has hit the YouTube community pretty damn hard over this past month, and you know, it's something, obviously something bad in all walks of life. You know, I mean, we've seen obviously recently over the past few years, you know, starting off with the whole Jimmy Savile thing, starting off the Operation U-Tree, and it's something that we're seeing a lot more of in the news recently. But obviously I'm just wanting to talk specifically about YouTube, but again, you know, I'm not wanting to bring it down to just YouTube, and you know, this needs to be something talked about in all walks of life. But it is important to keep this discussion going, because you know, I'm not saying that there are other YouTubers out there who have been doing stuff like that. Obviously that would be a stupid thing to say and an unfair thing to say. But if people stop talking about it, then people, if you know, things have happened, you know, victims would be scared to come forward. You know, the fact that all this has been coming out means that more victims aren't as afraid to come out and speak about it. And at the end of the day, it is such a hard thing to do, because you don't know how people are going to react to it, you don't know if people would believe you, and yeah, it's a very scary thing to do. And the girls and the people, you know, not all girls, you know, some boys that have come out and talked about things, it is an extremely, you know, brave thing for them to do and to have done, and to have, you know, people in the YouTube community, you know, kind of come around them and you know, sort of bring them in and let them know that they've, you know, done right and they're clearly not alone. You know, that makes people feel better and gives them, you know, a voice to, you know, speak out about it. But what I'm kind of trying to say with this video is as a YouTube community, we all need to come together and make sure that people like this are outed, gotten rid of from YouTube, and also to help the victims and be there for the people that have bravely, you know, come out about this stuff. And it does, you know, I mean, I'm a very, very little fish in such a massive pond in YouTube. You know, I only have 460 subscribers. I say only 460. I love those 460 subscribers to bits. But you know, in the grand scheme of things with YouTube, you know, like I say, very little fish, very large pond. But it doesn't matter how little you are in YouTube if you've just started out, or if you're one of the big YouTubers, you know, over 1 million subscribers. If we all, I'm not saying everyone to make a video, but if everyone just keeps sort of responding and keeps talking about all this, then, you know, we can eradicate this problem from, you know, this community, because, you know, it's something that isn't needed, and it's something that creates a hell of a lot of problems. And one of the things that is quite difficult with all this is, you know, the fans and the fandoms and fangirls, fanboys. You know, the people that have been outed, you know, all these people have their own fandoms and their own fangirls, fanboys, etc. And obviously, you know, the majority of them accept that what they've done is wrong, and, you know, obviously not supporting them anymore. But then you do get some that, you know, we live in this culture where people are so blinded by people's, you know, stardom and what they do and everything, and it kind of brainwashes them a bit. And seeing people, you know, seeing kids that are maybe 13, 14, 15 sort of trying to defend what the likes of Sam Pepper and Jason have done, you know, over this past week, is just so hard to see. That, you know, it's got to such a stage that, you know, these people, these figures had such a hold over their fans, and they've abused that power and abused their fans, and yet they're still trying to defend them and say that they haven't done anything wrong, and that, you know, they've changed and they deserve a second chance. And yet they deserve a second chance in life, but, you know, on YouTube and everything, that you can't go back to it. It's, you know, it really is quite scary. It really opened my eyes to sort of fandoms this past week or so. Like I say, seeing how, really the effect that these men, these guys have had on these young girls and boys, and you know, the fact that they've chosen to stupidly abuse that trust as well. You know, that issue of trust, that bond between fans and the YouTubers, you know, that's been broken, and it's doing damage to a lot of others as well. You know, all this has been coming out, and a lot of people have been falsely accusing other YouTubers of it. You know, I saw, you know, quite a lot of people started accusing, you know, Dan and Phil. I saw someone the other day, I can't remember the name of the YouTuber, but again, someone else being falsely accused of things. And this is one of the things that we, you know, we don't want to happen, and why as a community, as you know, and when I say community, I mean the people that make the videos, you know, the creators, and the people who watch it, everyone in the community, in the YouTube community, and fight against this horrible thing, this, you know, sexual abuse together, not be fighting amongst each other and trying to get people into trouble that don't need to be in trouble. And it just needs a lot more togetherness between everyone, and to just keep it going, and just not to ever stop talking about it, because that would be the best thing that could happen. If people keep on talking about it, then we can pretty, you know, not assure, but hopefully, you know, this kind of thing will not happen again, and we can eradicate these evil, disgusting scumbags, you know, from our community. You know, they're not welcome. Like I say, it doesn't matter if you're someone on YouTube who has just started out and you will have a few subscribers. If you create some content that gets out there and gets shared, like a lot of the videos over the past few days, then it, you know, that's helped. And you know, by me choosing to do this, it's like a lot of people have said, you know, making these videos, we don't want to be making them. They're very hard subjects to talk about. You know, it's been almost impossible to kind of set some kind of script going for this video, as you've probably been able to tell, because you don't really know what to say. But it is so important to talk about, and if we can just let people know that it's not an embarrassing thing to speak up about, and that there's people around them that will, you know, look after them and take care of them, and let them know that, you know, if someone out there has abused your trust and, you know, used their power for evil things, then it is okay to speak up about it. You know, it's a tough time on YouTube at the moment, and like I say, the last thing we need is constant divides. You know, the YouTube comment section can be, you know, a cesspit at the best of times, but you know, the last thing we all need is infighting amongst the community. You know, like I say, I don't know any of the people that have been involved in all this, but I know it's been very hard for, you know, obviously friends of the people that have been doing these horrible things. It must have been really hard for them to hear all this come out and accept, you know, that these friendships they've had are now over, and that their, you know, so-called friends have been lying to them all this time. But obviously, you know, it's not about them. You know, they are a sort of it, but the real victims in this are obviously the fans and the people that have been abused by these people, and horribly manipulated, and, like I say, embarrassed. And I can't really imagine what they must have been going through. You know, some of these people have been keeping these stories in for, you know, a couple of years now. So to have to meet someone you look up to and love, adore, idolise, and to have them then mistreat you like that, it's just, oh yeah. Some of the things that have come out recently just really do make your blood boil, and there's it's turned out, you know, a lot of these so-called nice guys really are just pure scum. So yeah, that's all I really have to say on the matter, guys. I'm not going to say I hope you enjoyed it, because it's not an enjoyable video to make, but please do sort of share this video out, and like I say, to fellow YouTubers out there, or even if you don't, you know, usually make YouTube videos, just to talk about it, maybe talk about some kind of experience, just some way of sharing all this and keeping the topic going, then go for it, because you will somehow be, somewhere be helping someone. So, that's the best thing to do, guys. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you all very soon.